Well, Casper and Don used to play catch with their little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't Casper and Don, it was Casper, Guy, and Don.
Yeah.
I want Dad to...
And their mother used to just get madder than hell out of them, I guess.
We stood...
She'd sit there and go,
Oh.
In my mind, it was
the ball
in,
to him.
No.
no,
Yeah.
they were throwing
They were
him.
throwing him.
Yeah.
Laughing all the way.
well, I know, but it was in, it just stick, in my mind, was in the backyard by those grapevines, the tangerine tree, and it's where they put a garden, the chicken coop, but
On Morris Street.
On Morris Street, yeah.
We
And
lived
then-
on Morris Street. We
And
lived
then
there.
the other thing is, Mom would get mad, is it must have been in the early 40s, before you guys were into service, and they would have the air raids, and you would start teasing that Hitler's coming or and stuff, and to scare me, and Mom would get mad. Is that a fact of the story?
Before that, when you were real little, they used to tease you about the bear was going to get you.
Yeah.
And that's when you had your nightmares.
He
And
still
one night,
does.
he'd have those nightmares, and then that Mom had to go someplace at night, and she left him with Guy and Don and them, and he had one of his nightmares and scared Don and Guy and the rest of them. They never teased him after that.
No, they play catch with
Grandpa Nicoll was always telling John he was going to get a pack burro, and
Yeah.
John, and that
And
pack
then
burro was
go
going
up
to
to
go to
Concho.
St. John's. Go to
From
Concho.
Concho.
Well, when we lived on Morris Street and John and Kenneth lived with us, we could see the granary from our house, and they used to tell me if there's a red light on the granary, Santa is coming tonight. I get up the next morning and no Santa.
Joyce, what do you remember about Don?
Oh, well, Don hardly ever wore Levi's.
No, he liked these corduroys.
He liked dress pants,
Yeah.
and he wore those to school, and he'd wear Levi's occasionally when the circumstances called for him, but most of the time it was dress pants. And we also, our house became I don't know what you'd call it, but every time anyone come down from St. John's and there was a dance, they were in Levi's. And when you went to the Mizona, you had to have dress pants or cords. And the first place they'd come would be to our house, and they'd wear some of Don's and Guy's and Cap's pants.
Casper and Gloria met at the Mizona.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about Cap, in his early years, he used to wear khaki pants, never wore Levi's.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
He wore khaki.
He wore khaki pants when he was working down there in the valley as a carpenter.
Yeah.
He didn't wear Levi's
Oh,
until probably,
in the 50s.
oh no, it was later than that.
Later than that, I
still
It was
remember
probably
always
in
wearing
the-
brown pants to the rest.
Yeah, that's the khaki.
always
With the khakis.
always wore khakis.
One thing that I
But when you say
remember
Levi's, you're referring to denim.
Yeah.
Okay.
when I was real little, I didn't know very much about Don, but he was home during the war. He'd been to boot camp and all that stuff, and I guess he was home before he went overseas. And I ended up sleeping with him. We were in this bed, and I wasn't a very quiet sleeper, and I turned over or did something, and he comes straight out of there like they do in the military, you know. They trained me that way too. You didn't have any trouble waking up when something happened, you know. And I made a move, and he went, phew. He stood there and looked at me like, oh no. But that's one memory I remember of him. Now, I was going to make another thing here while we're at it. My mother lives down in Yuma, and she never goes up to that house, and she told us to just take out of there whatever we wanted because she couldn't do anything with it. And I have this real nice curved picture of Donnie. I ought to give it to somebody who really wants that thing. It's that real nice picture, and I
In his sailor,
Yeah, we have that.
military clothes, and I've got it there. I just didn't want to just leave it up there.
No.
And
well,
so
you know who looks just like Don? Right there.
You point there. There.
But
Darren,
anyway,
Darren looks just like Don.
it's a nice big picture, and I just didn't want to just leave it there, so I brought it down. I have it there where we live, but I'd like to give it to somebody in the family.
I would like it. All right, Don, you're gonna have
Well,
to.
you
That's
make
what-
replicas. You know, might not
But
have the
it's
curved glass
a real
on.
nice
Who,
picture.
who ended up with that picture of Merlin and I?
I don't know for sure.
Maybe Marie has that.
I don't know.
I have a scanned copy of it, and I think I got it from Judy.
I just
So
wondered.
I think she might have that.
Okay, going back to Don and his dress, now I have heard that he had a pair of two-tone white boots or something that he liked to wear.
No, they were black with red, had a red steer on the front. They were at the ranch.
I
Well,
remember
those
seeing
Bar
those.
2U boots
No,
were
that
Don's,
was-
weren't they?
No, the Bar 2U, black with the Bar 2U,
Yeah.
I bought when I was in high school. I went down to El Paso when Kenneth was stationed there. Leon Slade drove Kenneth, and I went with him. And I went over to Juarez and ordered those when I was a senior in high school. When I got them, they didn't fit. I'd outgrown them already. And so your dad ended up wearing them out. or-
Yeah, that's right, you did, yeah.
and I, because I outgrew them, but I had heard that Don had a fancy pair of boots and that he liked to wear.
They had, they were black boots with black and red vamps. And had a steer.
Black and red what?
Vance.
Vamp.
What's
That's
that?
the top.
Top of a boot.
And
Buy your books and buy you.
had a black steer.
Very well.
Right?
Okay, so with Uncle Don, I have a scanned copy of a letter that I don't know who wrote it, but it was your parents, Grandma and Grandpa Nicoll. They wrote a letter to the military saying they had not heard from their son for a number of days. And I kind of cherish the
You
word.
sure that was Don or was it me?
No, it says we have not seen Don Nicoll.
Because my commanding officer got a letter.
Well, they made
I
this.
think I wrote 2 letters in a year and a half.
Well, this one had Don. The letter was written, I believe, after it was written after he was killed, and they were waiting for Don. And it says, "We have not heard from him. It's giving me anxiety with no end."
Yeah.
I would like to know, how did they find out, and how did that affect Grandma and Grandpa Nicoll when they found out that Don was killed?
Well, we got a telegram from the water department.
Let me, in the old house on Moore Street, there was a bedroom section here, and then there's kind of the front bedroom, and it had French doors in between it. And I think it was probably early in the morning. I came over and Mom was sitting on the bed, bent over, putting her shoes on, crying. And I asked what was wrong, I guess, and she said, "Don is dead." And I didn't know if she meant Daddy or Don, you know. I was, well, that was 45, what was I, 7, 8 years old. But I do remember Mom sitting on the bed crying.
Now, in that house, there were 2 bedrooms, then there was the little room that was the adobe.
That
Yeah.
was where Daddy,
The,
Grandpa.
the whole back end was adobe.
That's where,
The kitchen, bathroom, and that
The
one.
kitchen
that's
was
where
adobe?
Cap,
Yeah.
Well, there was a
That's
front room and a kitchen, and 2 bedrooms, and then the whole back of it was adobe, and that's
Yeah.
all there was up to it?
yeah,